Are you prepared for 2025 and what's to come? I know you see it everywhere. People being laid off, getting replaced by animation. They got robots doing the things that we had never thought they'd be doing. Like they got robots literally replacing everybody's jobs, and it's all business. And it's like, if you don't have a plan going into 2025, you might not even have a job going into 2025. So it's like, when it's time to lay you off and everything, what are you going to do? You're going to panic, or you're going to look for another way to provide for your family, settle your kids' future? Or are you just going to whine and complain that the government did this, the government did that? And it's like, the government, we all see, this past election, they don't care about it. The government don't care about the citizens. They don't, and that's why we got Trump in there. But the thing about it, this is the new golden age. And I know a lot of people, they hate to believe that, but it's true. Because all the people, the scumbags that was in the government, they being removed out of government. And it's sad to see that you see a lot of these departments in government that they had, and everybody's just, it seems like to me, the government is the biggest scandal on the face of the earth. We got an overbloated government. We overpaying them. And that money comes from somewhere. Comes from the people, of course. And it's like, what are we going to do moving forward? Since we know what we know. We know the government been taking advantage of us for years. What are we going to do? We're going to allow them to continue to take advantage of us? Or are we going to think on our own and act on our own? And we ain't going to wait for the government for nothing. 2025 is the time to build. 2025 is the time to stop bullshitting, excuse my language, and get your stuff together. Stop worried about what Bukwakwa doing on the internet. Stop worried about what your neighbor's doing. Stop worried about what your certain relatives is doing. And it's time to start worrying about you. What are you going to do? Because ain't nobody else going to pay your bills. Ain't nobody else going to take care of your family when you're gone. Ain't nobody going to live life for you. And that's just the truth. And a lot of people going to take it in the wrong way, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm not here to please anybody. For me, for instance, in 2019, of course, you guys remember, Trump was in office. That was a time where I was preparing myself to start a business. And right now, in my 2025 resolution coming into 2025 is to expand that business. Because I spent years preparing myself. As soon as 2019 came, that's when I was on the roll. I stopped playing around. I started really planning and just executing on the goals that I set out for myself. And now I'm at a place in my life where I can just, expand. And if I would never got this far if I would never listen to the Father. Because there was some stuff like mentally. I had to prepare myself mentally. It's not just you guys need to prepare for yourself financially, but mentally as well, because business is more mental challenges. You face more mental challenges than physical challenges, you know, because being in business it's nothing like a job. You know, if nothing don't work, it's on you. If you don't make no money, it's on you. People don't get paid, it's on you. Some get fucked up, excuse my language, it's on you. No one cares. So I'm not saying that you should start a business and quit your job and you could have a good job. I'm not saying that, because business is not for everybody. But what I'm saying is think outside the box. Think beyond that job, because that job ain't guaranteed. You know, we've been seeing this the whole 4 years since Kamala Harris and Joe Biden been running. Job ain't guaranteed. So you got to plan eventually beyond that job. And it's like, this is the time that we need to really think about what we're going to do moving forward, as far as like what our lives. But anyways, let me get back to it, where I had to fix some mental challenges before I started my business. And when I started my business, and when I was preparing to start my business, I was flat. I was broke. I was broke. I was working a landscaping job. I was barely making ends meet. You know, and I remember one time I was fasting and, you know, I was praying, and I had a dream one time. And the dream was, and I knew it was God. I knew it. They said, you know my principles. You have my message. The only thing you need now is discipline. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, who else could it be? I knew it was God, because who else would know what's wrong? Who else would know exactly what's wrong with your life and what you need to do to improve your life for success? Who else gonna know that? You know? But I started working on my discipline. I mean, I worked hard. I worked at that 9-to-5 job. I showed up to work every day on time. And when I do show up to work, I work my butt off, you know? So I was developing my discipline when I was working that job. I was preparing myself when I was working that job. And I treated that job as a business. I respected the equipment. I respected all the employees there. I treated everybody right. Even though when people were starting to find out that, because I used to tell people, like, this is only temporary for me. And when I would tell some employees that, they would get offended and they would talk about me behind my back. And they like, okay. And then there would be times where they try to talk me out of starting a business. You know, they want to keep me small-minded. They want to belittle me. They want to say all the bad things that comes with business, and I already did my own research on business. You know, I spent years preparing myself to start a business. And when 2019 came, I was really just grinding. Like, that's when I started, like, I met this one old head when I was working the job. He had his own landscaping business, but he went out of business because of COVID. And I got cool with him, and he was showing me some things, and he was like, man, I still got clients for my business that I do work for. And he asked me that I want to tag along on some jobs. So I was learning from him on the side, all working that job at the same time. So I was doing side jobs with him, and I was working that 9-to-5 job at the same time. This was all through 2019 to get the money to start a business, which I eventually started my business in 2022. You know, like I was legitimate. So that's why I say I'm at a point right now where I can expand. So basically, yeah, I work with him and work. Ooh, I worked. But that's what it takes to be successful. You gotta go beyond what you used to. You know, you gotta go out of your comfort zone. How you ever gonna grow if you don't move out of that comfort zone? You're never gonna grow. And I look back on that. I was like, yeah, during those times it was scary because it was during COVID, and you know, everybody was locked down, and the world was going crazy. I mean, it's been a crazy 4 years in general, and it's just been crazy. But what I'm saying is, don't let what's going on put you in fear, because the best time to start a business is during crises. And I started my business during a crisis. But before 2019, I was preparing myself. I was studying business management, you know. So that's in 2019, that's when I took it serious and started working with a buddy of mine that I told you guys about. And that's when I was able to get the money to start it. You know, and I'm saying is, if I can do it, you guys can do it. But what I'm saying is, the key element of this video is, before all that, it was me and God. I prayed to God. I was fasting. I told you I was homeless. I was living in a hotel. When God spoke to me about this, and I didn't know where I was gonna make it, you know. And I thank the Father, you know, because this business was a blessing. And all I'm saying is, if I can do it, you can do it. You know, just, you know, seek out the Father for yourself, please. You know, ask him what you need to do to be successful. I mean, you guys, you be on the phone talking all day to your friends and relatives, and you be on the internet scrolling. But at the end of the day, how is that going to benefit you at the end of the day? Would you rather seek out God for yourself and ask him what you need to make your life better? Or would you continue to scroll on the internet looking at everybody else's life and looking at everybody else live their life? Choice is up to you.